What's up guys, Chris Schwartz-Edmondson here from Schwartz-Edmondson Web Design. In today's video we're going to be looking at two different ways of creating custom section dividers in Squarespace 7.1, and we're going to be looking at the pros and the cons of each method. So I've already made this full tutorial for adding custom section dividers to Brine 7.0 Squarespace templates, but I get a lot of questions about how to add this to a 7.1 template. So that's what we're going to first talk about today, is how to add this PNG custom section divider to 7.1. So the first thing you can do is go ahead and copy the CSS from the blog post and paste it into your website. And the first thing that we'll want to do is just go ahead and copy the section ID for the section that you want to add the overlay to. So in this case, how I got to the Chrome Inspect tools is I hovered over the section, then I right-clicked and clicked Inspect, and now I'm just going to navigate up the DOM here until I hover over the section that I want to add my custom divider to. So you can see here, as I hover over this page section here, my page section to the left here is highlighted blue. So that means I'm hovering over the correct section. So now I'm just going to copy my data section ID for this section, and I'm going to open up some brackets and paste my data section ID between brackets. Because data attributes, so you can see there's data section ID, data controller, data current styles. The way you target data attributes in CSS is by surrounding the data attribute in brackets. So that's why we're targeting the data section ID that way. Now I don't need this background color, so I'm going to get rid of that. And the next thing that we'll do is we'll just update our image URL here. So the best way to do it is to just upload your image to the Manage Custom Files. So you'll want to click between the parentheses and then go to Manage Custom Files, and then click on your image that you've uploaded, and it'll place the image wherever your cursor previously was. In this case, it's between the parentheses. So that's how easy it is to add the custom section divider to Squarespace 7.1. And the benefit of this method is that it's very easy to create the PNG in Photoshop and then to export it. And also this works on all browsers because we're just using a before pseudo element placed at the top of the section, and then we are adding a background image of our pattern as the background image of that pseudo element. So it's a very simple setup, and the nice thing about it is that it works on all browsers. The negative with this method is that, let's say I wanted to add a custom section divider to a section that had a different background color. I would then have to remake another section divider image with the same background color here, and then I would basically have to repeat this process for every other section that had a different background color. So it would be a CSS intensive process and also a time intensive process because we're having to redo this for every different colored background section. So I was looking into ways of, how could this pattern just inherit the background color of whatever section that it's placed on. So I've figured out a way to do that using CSS masks. And the way that you use CSS masks is by exporting your pattern as an SVG. So I'm in Illustrator here. You can use any program that will allow you to export an SVG pattern. And so I've created my artboard here. It's 100 pixels tall by 1920 pixels wide. And so I just made sure that my path was snapped to the edge of the artboard, and I drew out my pattern, and then I went to File, Export, Export As, and then just make sure you have SVG selected, and this will be, you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it mountain mask _ video. I've created a lot of these in my tests and practices. So mountain mask underscore video, and then make sure the decimals, I don't think this stuff really matters. I haven't changed any of it. So just make sure to match mine, because I know this works, decimal at 2, and make sure minify and responsive are checked. Then go ahead and click OK, and it'll save your SVG file. So instead of using a background image and all these background position properties, instead we're going to use a mask. So I'm going to delete all of these background image properties, and instead we are going to first, we'll set up our WebKit mask, and then we'll give a URL for that. So first we have to upload our file to the Squarespace internal storage that we can then link to our SVG file. So the easiest way to do that is to just highlight some content on the website and make a link, and then click the gear icon and go to File, and then click Upload File. Navigate to your SVG, click Open, then click on it so you get the check mark, and hit Save, and then hit Apply. And you'll see that it the internal storage link is /s/mountainmask_video.svg. But if you hit Apply and then save that, we don't want that URL link. We want the full actual full path to the file. So I'm going to right click on the link and click Open in New Tab. So you can see this gives me like the full path URL here. So that's the URL that I want to copy and put into my mask. And then let's see, what do I want to do? Then I want to give this mask some properties here. So I want it to be positioned at the bottom of the section, and I want to give it a repeat of no repeat. It looks like that's optional. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so it's not showing up right now, but let's go ahead and inspect and see where we are. Okay, so we have our before pseudo element here, and you can see the WebKit mask URL. So I think all we have to do now is just go ahead and add a background color, and we'll see if this worked. So we'll go background of black, and now you can see that whatever background color we give the pseudo element, it's making the background color of our mask. So that's awesome. So this is working right now. But we want it to inherit the background color of the section. So if I right click on my my page section here, and then if you toggle it open, you can see there's a class called section background. And so this is the class that the background color gets placed on for each section. So we don't actually want the pseudo element to be added to the section as a whole. We want it to be added to the section background. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that property. We don't need it for now. And within the curly brackets for this section, I'm going to target .section background, and then I'll open up some curly brackets, and I want to make sure that my and before is within this section background curly brackets. So I'm going to drop down below, and I'm going to add my closing curly bracket. I'll highlight this section background curly bracket so we can see which one it is. And so we need to add our closing curly bracket down there. Okay, so now we have our before pseudo element added to the section background. So if I toggle open the section background, now we have our before pseudo element, but the problem is that right now the section background has an overflow of hidden, so we can't see our section divider. So all we have to do is give an overflow of visible to our section background, and now our divider will be showing. And so we don't want to explicitly define the background color on the pseudo element. We want the background color to be inherited. So that's why we've placed the pseudo element on the actual section background, because now we can set the background color to inherit, and it'll inherit whatever the section background color is for that section. So this is an awesome way to be able to add the section divider to different sections and have it automatically inherit that background color of that section. The reason that we've set it up in this kind of like nesting type of way is that now we can just separate data section IDs up here for each section that we want to add this to. So if I click inspect, I can also pull the data section ID for this gray section. And so we'll target this one as well. I'm going to add some brackets. And now, boom, we get our divider on this section with a gray background. So this is awesome. We can just keep adding data section IDs here, and then we already have the CSS all set up down here. So one thing that we need to change down here in the media query. So it's set to automatically just like span the full width. So when you get down to a smaller screen size, then it just squishes down. And I don't really want that on. I would rather set like a custom mask size. So I'm gonna write WebKit mask size 200 by 50%. And so we're gonna play around with these properties a little bit. So let's do 200 and let's do 30. Okay, I actually do like it a little bit bigger. So we'll go 300. 300 by 50 actually looks good to me. So now it doesn't like shrink down so much. I think that's like a nice size for the section divider there. So now we have it looking great on all screen sizes, and we can just add it to multiple sections, boom, 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 very easily, which is great. So right now we have it set up for WebKit. What we need to do is go ahead and just copy it for like the normal mask. So this is a WebKit prefix to make this work on WebKit browsers. So that's Chrome, Firefox, and Mozilla and Safari. But we need to make sure we just have the normal property as well. So the great thing about this is we can add it to multiple sections and it'll automatically inherit the background color of that section. The downside is it's not supported, masks are not supported in Internet Explorer, but this should work on the big three. So Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. So if you don't care about Internet Explorer, then this is a great method for you. Now I want to go back and just remove that link because we're just using it to get that SVG path URL. And there you have it. We have added a cool section divider using an SVG mask, so it automatically inherits the background color. All right, that's it for custom section dividers in 7.1. The link to the CSS will be in the description below. All right, I'll see you in the next one.